I'm going to start this review off a bit differently, and I might sound a bit rude, but I just have to keep things honest and real. But if you're hoping that this is going to be a review full of negativity and moaning and bitching, I'm going to just be respectful and tell you guys maybe just ignore this video if you have that type of energy right now, because you're not going to get anything from what I have to say. And there's other channels out there that's going to maybe make you feel a type of way after this game. So I have to say that, yeah. And the reason why I'm saying that is that today I felt like this was a very engaging contest between two teams who were going for it. There was battles all over the fields, and I felt like for the large part Palace posed us a lot of interesting questions, and we rose to the challenge a lot of times. And if it wasn't for the combination of some poor finishing in crucial moments and a little mistake from Palmer near the end to set up that Crystal Palace attack, I just felt like we kind of edged the performance out, considering the intensity of this game, to have deserved earning 3 points. I felt like realistically this game was a lot closer to being 2-0 for us compared to ending up 1-1. And even though there are negatives we can talk about, I think perspective is important, and I think this is what I want to talk about in the match review today. I'm not here to moan about Nico, equaliser, blah, blah, blah. Many people have said for a long time, it's not a title challenge, we're here for 3 points. Many of us did not believe it, and I feel like we're now in that stage of the season where the reality now is showing itself for what it is. And realistically, are we that type of team right now who can do what title challenges can do? You know, are we good enough to win games by that one goal? I don't think we're there just yet. Not just yet. We can get there, and I'm seeing signs that we're closer to that. But at the moment, you know, we need 2 goals every game just to seal out 3 points, and hopefully that is something that can improve. But today I didn't see any faults from Enzo Maresca. I thought this was a good performance from the manager. I said in my preview I wanted to see a reaction from him, and I love the reaction I saw from Enzo Maresca. As we know, Glasner felt a bit confident in regards to what our approach and setup was going to be like. Did Enzo react to that? Who knows? But the decision to start this game off with a 4-1-4-1 I thought was really inspired, actually. Of course, the big inclusion in the first team was the full debut of Acheampong, who actually ended the game. And I thought, wow, let's start off by discussing one of the big positives in this game today, and that was Acheampong's full Premier League debut. Because wow, if there's one thing that he communicated, was confidence in himself. As we know, Anselmino has been recalled. As we know, there's rumours that we're looking at potential defensive reinforcement in the windows. Acheampong's just signed a long-term 7-year deal, yeah? So in a game like this, when he has an opportunity, there's pressure on this kid to have to show what he's about. And I think today he would have communicated to Enzo Maresca, listen, I'm not just your backup guy, your 4 guy when you have no one else to turn to. I am someone that is good enough to affect this team, to play in this team. And I just thought his performance in general, in a game where this was a hard test against Crystal Palace, a lot of times he had to go up against Mateta, who is one of the strongest target men strikers in the country. He's caused a handful to many defenders with 10+ years experience that Acheampong doesn't even have right now. So he gave an incredible showing of himself today. Very strong on the ball. Loved his long strides. He was showing confidence to make things happen and affect the game. And I've always said this, my friends, players that make their debuts and look to affect the game and show what they can do, they're the ones I respond to. They're the ones that tend to have a better long-term future than the young players who get, you know, overawed by the occasion, play within themselves and just look to make the manager happy instead of really making themselves happy on the field. So I think Josh today can leave his head held very high. And I said it and I keep saying it again. Trust the squads. Yeah, trust the squad. I think that's what Maresca did today. So it's a shame that the result didn't reflect the trust he had, because I felt like the squad today definitely re-showed that faith. But anyway, I want to discuss Maresca and that decision to use the 4-1-4-1, because I think that definitely fooled Crystal Palace by a mile. A lot of us expected either one of Gusto or Cucurella to invert in midfield, but that wasn't the plan. Instead, Maresca said, no, you lot, you're going to be stretching the play against Palace. You're going to be supporting the wingers out wide. And I thought our wingers in Sancho and Neto gave a good account of themselves today. I thought Jadon Sancho, that excellent piece of wing play to set up the first goal, it was deserved because we were putting Palace under a lot of pressure, especially with our use of width in that game, especially with fullbacks overlapping. We saw Cucurella, those customary overlapping runs down the left-hand side who, you know, Sancho's constantly releasing them to. You know, the width was going to be key for us to get something. And for the first 45 minutes, it was our weapon. And like I was saying, Sancho, incredible piece of wing play. Just the little dummy away, carries the ball, he can drive at pace with the ball under control. And then just the beautiful pass outside the boot to find Cole Palmer, who then slots it into the bottom right corner. That was a high level, top class goal. And we created, I feel like an abundance, maybe abundance is a strong word, but we created numerous opportunities where we had these surging, flowing attacks that was just dissecting Crystal Palace. And you just kept thinking to yourself, realistically, if we can make it 2-0 first half, this game is over. And there was real confidence, I think we all felt, because of how sharp the football was, how Palace had no answers to it, because it seemed like we found a solution against what we've been suffering against recently. And that's the teams who are coming here, not pressing our centre-backs, keeping a mid-block, and playing far at the back and going really deep. I mean, did you see how often we had the overlapping options? Cucurella, beautiful La Masia cutback crosses inside the box. Neto's energy down that right-hand side. We created moments to seal the game. Unfortunately, we weren't able to, and you could probably argue this is where Nico Jackson maybe might look at himself now, because he had two great opportunities. Listen, the first one, end of the first half, I can let him off a little bit, because when you're executing a finish outside the boot, that's a difficult finish. But I thought that move then, you know, Cole Palmer, superb first time ball, releases Nico Jackson. Nico's up against Lacroix, who's been a very strong defender, going up against most players attacking him in this league. And then Nico Jackson just changes direction, pulls it back to the left side, fools Lacroix. And I was thinking, am I going to see Nico now execute the goal that he scored in training sessions, which we saw on the club socials, an outside the boot finish? But he wasn't able to execute that, and that was a massive shame, because in hindsight now, that was a bigger moment than it should have been. And of course, there's going to be talks around Nico Jackson maybe improving his technique. As we know, he's not one of the best strikers in the world. He's still growing, he's still developing. Areas I want to see improvement in, left foot finish. Was that not a moment for you to open your body up instead of going for the outside the boot, which is a lot harder compared to opening your body? Left foot finish. Palmer shot us away against Fulham. But again, is Nico necessarily that level of striker that can do that? No, he's not. He can get there, but it's going to take time. And as I keep saying, when we criticize our players, we do it without perspective. And that perspective is, if I was to tell you guys in chat right now, name me 10 players the same age as Nico, who are doing better things than him, a lot of you guys are going to struggle. Not older than him, the same age as Nicholas Jackson, because it's that hard right now, yeah? It's not that simple. And I don't know, it makes you think though, realistically, maybe in this market, getting temporary striker support is going to be key for us, because the last thing we need is a Nico who gets too tired now, who can't play 90 minutes every single week. Like, we do need some reinforcement, it does feel like. But, you know, Nico had that moment, and then second half, another moment, of course, and maybe the pass was to play it back inside to Enzo, or play it to Neto, who just finds himself occupied for fun, and no one ever finds him. And maybe it's another small example that the team needs a bit more time to understand now. He takes a shot with the left foot, and again, he doesn't score it. And I think in those moments, they're the moments you have to take advantage of and score. And when you don't do that, you're inviting more pressure onto yourselves, right? And I guess eventually we weren't able to maintain the pressure against us. And I think the sad thing about the goal we conceded was that it was very much in control. I don't know, I felt like Palmer, as the second half went on, his performance definitely dips. I think there will be interesting questions around whether he is someone that you have to keep on for 90 minutes every single game. Let's see what happens. you guys in the chat, you share your thoughts and opinions on that, because I did feel like at times he was playing more for himself compared to actually looking to do his bit for the team. And I say that because he was attempting a few more ambitious things more than he had to, when a lot of times the simpler answer was more beneficial for the team in the context of this like difficult contest against Palace. So when you're conceding the goal in that manner that we did after all the efforts we put in, when I'm seeing great defending, I have to say, from Levi Cole and Acheampong against Mateta, it's a tough game. It's a tough game, and I'm seeing the great work that we saw from guys like Cucurella, guys like Neto and Sancho. There was a lot of commendable performances on that field, and I think both teams definitely turned up thinking we have to be on our A game against each other today. But it just felt like we did a little bit more, I think, with the opportunities we made. Or not even opportunities, that's the danger. Like, how many times have we dissect Crystal Palace with these surging plays, left, right, overlaps from the from the fullbacks, great play from the wingers as well. I thought, Neto, I think he justified his start of Madueke. I'm not really offended when Madueke doesn't start. I understand Maresca's coaching the kids. If he's not being consistent, Neto plays. And I think we forget the fact that, what if Neto is just simply outperforming Madueke in training? If he's doing that, then he plays. That's just how the game is. And that's how Maresca, that's what he's communicated to the squad and this team this season. So that doesn't bother me. So I don't know. It's a shame that we weren't able to get the win in the end. But I guess in hindsight, I'll take the point. Now, if Maresca says something along the lines of, we had the opportunities, I'm going to believe it in this game compared to Ipswich. I think against Ipswich, it sounded like it was capping, because I just think we were kind of comfortably outplayed by Ipswich. Yeah, we hit the post a few times, they're all half-chance moments. I thought Ipswich looked quite comfortable. I mean, too comfortable defensively. But did I get the sense that Crystal Palace were comfortable defensively? I didn't get that. And when I saw the reaction full time, I think both teams understood, we actually put in a contest today. I saw all three Palace defenders like on their knees. They got stretched today, they got pushed today, There's a lot of like late fouls, a lot of tackles going haywire at times. This was a good contest, I have to say. But sadly, the result didn't go our way. But ultimately, though, that luck in a game like this, you need it. How many times have you seen a City or Liverpool? Tight game, moment of magic, or a referee giving a decision. And I think maybe the key decision where the luck went against us. For me, I have to say, I thought that was a penalty against Neto. You see the replay like 10 times, for God's sake. It looked like he missed the ball completely. He only made contact with the ball after he went through the man. If that penalty was given when it should have been given, it should have been given in that moment. Palmer steps up, makes that 2-0, and I think this game gets buried and we win that. So, I don't know. I feel like after witnessing the entire flow of this game today, for me, I don't feel defeated. I don't think there's a negative. Yes, there's frustrations, but considering that most of you were saying that there's no title challenge, is it any surprise that some of these typical frustrations were going to come back? Because I think a lot of us knew that we aren't fully there just yet. But, I can't take away the endeavour from the team today. I can't do that. I don't leave here feeling like players got lazy, played within themselves, no confidence, etc., etc. I can't even say that about Maresca. Little small examples like when the second half starts, I think Palace's best threats came from Munoz. Of course, he plays a ball across the box. Eze should have made it 1-1 earlier. That was luck going our way. But I think Maresca himself realised, I have to swap Palmer to the left and Enzo to the right side just to stop encouraging Munoz to break forward and behind, because he's really starting to kill us down that left-hand side a bit. He reacted, I thought, introducing Gu. He wants to use the squad and give faith to them. I get that decision to take off a tired Nico, to have Gu just press and run defenders ragged. That doesn't really bother me. Maybe if there's any one thing, though, is the Cole Palmer thing. And does this potentially explain why Maresca would want another midfield player? Because let's say if Lavia was playing, could we have seen maybe Palmer getting subbed off last 10-15 minutes? You're introducing a Lavia, and he got more stability, because in that moment we conceded the goal. Would Lavia have got dispossessed then? You see what I mean? Do you see how these little pieces then add up, and it creates a more complete performance, and obviously, hopefully, a result that goes in our favor. I mean, this is how I'm seeing the game today. I don't leave here feeling defeated. I don't think players are crap, manager out. Just none of that online nonsense. So this is why I had to start the video off saying my stuff, because I don't know. I was streaming today. I was seeing the typical stupid stuff, and it's just like, bro, like, people love like the whole lives revolving around football, tweeting, watching content, X, Y, Z. But it's just like, you can always tell you just never really play the game, because a lot of the things people moan about, it's just like, come on, man. If you've kicked ball, you'd have a different perspective. So yeah, that's what I have to say about the game today. You share your thoughts and opinions, and I'll see you guys all soon. Cool.